While I sympathize with Sarah Palin and her frustration over the Family Guys mocking her child of Down syndrome, I think it's also important to remember, particularly for Mrs. Palin, that when you're somebody who leads a large group of people, you also have to be sensitive to the disrespect and mocking that happens of people of all groups. You can't just be upset when it happens to your family. Every single day we see images on television in the videos of black women being subject to misogynistic lyrics. We see homosexuals being disrespected on television, religious groups, Muslims being disrespected on television, black people being mocked on a daily basis. And if you're going to be offended at a marginalized group being mocked on television, you should be offended at all groups. That's what helped people like Dr. King rise to such prominence. There was a care for all suffering and not just the suffering of people of his own race or his own family. I see these images every day as a black person and I get frustrated, and I would love to have people join me in speaking about the ignorance that's out there. But we as Americans, we tend to get upset simply when somebody says something about our own group. Most people aren't going to go out there and take a stand against misogyny and hip-hop because their kids don't listen to it. That's the problem that we have in America. So I believe that, Mrs. Palin, if you really want people to really identify with what you're saying, you should help take a stance against all types of disrespect that are happening. Because shows like The Family Guy, American Dad, South Park, they've been mocking people for years. And you shouldn't just come out now just because somebody's saying something about your family, however ignorant it might be. If you're going to be a leader for the people, then you need to show that you identify with the people by identifying with all of our issues and taking a stand against ignorance as a whole.